Do you save everything? This was an old purse. I turned it into a fun label for a basket. I also saved all of these upholstery tacks that I took out of an ottoman and a chair when we got rid of our living room furniture. I'm gonna use these, and I'm gonna use an old leather purse to make a fun tag. It's upside down. Fun tag. This is an old leather purse, and I just cut the purse apart and saved this piece of the leather. It's real leather on one side and then smooth leather on the other side. So I'm going to stamp it with a IOD Crockery stamp. So I'm cutting it to the size that I need it to. The first thing I do is I paint it with the DIY bead board. This paint goes over fabric and leather perfectly. If you want to thin it down with water, you can certainly do that. I put this straight on and I just gave it a really, really thin coat of paint. Then while the paint was still wet, I took a baby wipe and distressed back the edges to bring back out that textured leather. You can distress as little or as much as you want. This is the Crockery stamp by IOD. It is a retired stamp, but I did hear rumor that they're gonna bring a few more back. Right now, you can't get them anywhere. I take a thin mount and I cut it into 4 pieces so it's a little bit smaller. And then I line my stamp up onto my leather piece and adhere it to the thin mount. The thin mount is amazing. I just love the lines that are on there. This is the black ink and I put it in the ink pad. This one's already inked up, so I didn't need to add any more, but you put it on the back side of the stamp, inking it all up. Make sure that you get it in every place. Store the ink face down so the ink goes down. Then you're gonna take and flip your stamp over, get your piece of leather all ready and line it up using those grid lines. That's why I really like these thin mounts. And then adhere that ink to soak right into that beadboard. Next is clear wax. I'm going to go over top of this leather with clear wax. Leather really likes wax, and it just goes on so well, and it conditions the leather. So you're going to go right over top of that paint and that ink. I actually stamped this like 5 minutes ago, so that ink dries really super fast. Just make sure your paint is dry. And you go right over the top with the clear wax, and I'm going to do both of them, and then I'm going to go around the edges with the dark wax to age it up. You'll see how I do that shortly. I went around the edges with that dark wax, and you don't have to go into the center. And then when you wipe it back, you can wipe just a tad over top of that center. I didn't want my center to be real aged. I wanted it more white. So I went ahead and just wiped what was excess on my cloth over the center of it. And I wiped that dark wax back, giving that leather an old age look. I didn't show you this part, but these tacks have long ends on them. We put them into the leather and then we cut that off. So pound them into the leather and then cut off that excess. So only a little bit of the tack is sticking out. So get rid of that dangerous part. Next, I had some old tacks that I had taken out of a ottoman that I had saved, and I put the tacks into each corner, and now I'm going to hot glue them in and make sure that they stay in that leather. If I had any excess glue on the outside, I pulled it off when it was still kind of warm so that it would pull off right away. It's kind of hot on the fingers, and those tacks absorb the heat of that hot glue. So be careful so you don't burn yourself. But if you get that off when it's a little bit soft, it's much easier than when you let it cool. Now I'm going to take this old leather piece that it looks like, and I'm going to glue it to this fun basket. I think you can get these baskets at Target. I got it at a secondhand store for like $5.97. And I'm going to take the hot glue on the back of the leather piece and really slather it on there so that it stays and adhered to the side of the basket. After it's adhered and cooled, I go ahead and add more glue just to the corners so that it doesn't pull up anywhere. I make sure that all those corners are glued down, and I stick some glue under there if I can. If it's pulling up anywhere, I'll just stick the hot glue under there and adhere it back down. There it is, one old leather patch onto a basket. It's good. It's so good. It looks like a piece of old leather with a Crock stamp on it. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you need any IOD or DIY products, please visit thepaintedphotographer.com and order them up. I'll ship them right to your door. If you're local, I sell my products at Foreman's Farm Home in Medford, Wisconsin. And if you like this project, please hit the subscribe button and follow along with all my other videos. Thanks and happy painting.